who's the most terrible of them all? It's HollywoodLian.
Hello and welcome to Everyone is Terrible. I'm your host, HollywoodLian. It's my favorite day of the week. 2021 is here, you guys. And it started out a little rough. We had to deal with J-Lo's terrible New Year's Eve performance. Andy Cohen drunk off his ass, screaming at the TV. He shaded the mayor while I was totally imagining Anderson Cooper balls deep in Joining me today in the terrible studio, Laganja Estranja from RuPaul's Drag Race. Hey, baby.
Hi, baby.
And Ollie Drennan, also known as Ollie Dreamer on Instagram, RuPaul's Drag Race panel royalty. Here we go. Hi, boo-boo.
Hi, Happy New Year. Thanks for having us.
Happy New Year. I can't wait to get all this tea, all the Drag Race terribleness. We're going to break it down for you guys. We got a lot to cover. Laganja's already smoking, so I might join her. We have our lighters, and we are ready to go. Ganja, what are you smoking?
That's right, honey. Put your lighters up. Ganja's in the house. Yeah. Comes in sativa or indica, so naturally I am smoking the sativa because I am a sativa diva. Getting woken up the right way. So super excited about smoking this and talking all things terrible with you.
Oh my God, Ganja, I have to tell you something. For some reason, the sativas have not been hitting me well during this quarantine, girl. I'm getting paranoid.
Yeah, well, I think that's actually kind of a normal thing with sativas for a lot of people. So I don't think you're alone there. I think there is sort of a period where our body changes and thus, you know, your chemical makeup is different and the cannabinoids that you're reacting to are also changing. So it's natural to sort of gravitate, I think, towards indica later in our lives. I also think we're finding out a lot of, not to be a weed nerd, but we're also finding out a lot of information about sativa and indica not really being the best way to classify cannabis, and that it's actually due to the terps, the terpenes that are inside the plant. So I think we still have a lot more room to go and learn, and I'm just happy to hear that you being paranoid because of one strain didn't stop you from smoking, because a lot of times that's what happens, is people are like, oh, I've grown too old, I can't do this anymore, and it's like, no, you just need to find a different way to get your medicine intake.
Absolutely. No, I could never stop smoking. It's like what calms me down. It brings my anxiety down. And back in the day, we had like 5 strains, and they used to just get you high, and now we have too many. Is it too much, Ganja?
No. No, honey, you're talking to Team Too Much. So no, I love it. In fact, I want to see more, and I want to see more growth and more development, and, you know, the use of man-made chemicals inside pot. You know, of course, I hear your point of view on that. For instance, the butane has been taken out of the, you know, wax or dab. So yes, there do become a lot of issues when you start intermixing natural and man-made, but I believe with the proper research and with the proper execution of such, no, it's a great thing. I want the industry to grow. I want us to have more strains. In fact, I'm trying to have a Laganja Estranja strain. Okay.
Oh my God, that would be so great, and I would totally buy it, and I would have to smoke it before going to the Abbey or something, you know?
Exactly.
Oh, I love it. I love it. Well, if your name is Hilaria Baldwin, you're fucking terrible. Guys, what are you watching on TV right now?
Oh my God. So I just finished Queen's Gambit, and I did not think I was going to like the show, but Anya Taylor-Joy is freaking amazing. And like, honestly, every single guy in that show, I would want to fuck. Like, I would want to fuck every single guy in that show because they're all so hot. Did you guys watch Queen's Gambit? Am I the only one here
I didn't watch it, but you know what? I heard it took about 10 years to make, which I think is fucking incredible.
Wow.
And it's like about chess. Like, who would have thought this? It's like, I think it's honestly one of like the most watched Netflix shows, if not the most watched Netflix show ever.
I don't believe that.
That's what I heard. That's what my friend told me.
I don't believe it.
I could be wrong.
I think period pieces are terrible. Okay.
I'm dead.
Bridgerton is the only one I can watch because the guys are super hot in that too, Ollie. You need to check out the dude.
No, I've seen some pics on Twitter, and I'm like, maybe I should watch this. Wait, Ganja, what are you watching?
Oh, gosh. Well, I like TV a lot. So I've been watching everything. It's so hard to pick one thing. One of my favorites that I was watching recently was called The Pack on Amazon. It's a reality-based show where owners and their dogs are competing against one another. So that was really fun. Last night I was rewatching Feud by Ryan Murphy, of course, with Jessica Lange and Susan Sarandon both giving the most incredible performances, in my opinion, of one of Ryan Murphy's series.
So we have Laganja here. Obviously, we're going to talk to her about her drag race journey. She's talked about basically all of it. And there were some things that were sticking out to me in some of your other interviews that I just want to talk about. So the first one is,
Sure.
You said...
I hate when things start with, you said. I'm like, oh God, what did I say? What did I say?
Well, you just said, you alluded to the fact that you don't want to do press-on nails for the rest of your life. Like, you don't want to dress up for the rest of your life. You're an artist. You're a creator. You're a choreographer. You're more than just, death drops and tongue pops. So that kind of spoke to me. And I feel like, to me, it was saying like, dude, I'm trying to branch out. I'm trying to get bigger and better. And like, I feel like people still see me as death dropping Laganja Estranja.
Yeah, I mean, I think that is true for sure. I don't want to wear press-on nails for the rest of my life. And I don't know if that means that I want to get acrylics or if that means I don't want to wear nails ever again, So I think right now for me, that's actually where I am in my transition. And moving forward in life is trying to figure out, how do I live my life? Because I think gender has played a huge part of my role, my character as Laganja Estranja, but gender has also played a huge part of who I am as Jay Jackson. Because drag is very uncomfortable. I physically modify my body with duct tape. I am super gluing things to my nails and ears. And then usually I am going out there and slamming my back into the ground in a high auxiliary performance. So there's a lot of physical pain that comes along with it. And I think the older I get, it's natural for me to be like, okay, I can't do this forever. If I don't do drag, will I still be able to live my non-binary truth and express my femininity? What we call transitioning, whether it be with our gender, whether it be with our job, a transition is all about that kind of uncomfortable place of growth.
I'm really happy that you guys say that because I relate to you guys so much about this whole, feeling like you don't have all the right answers. And so it makes me feel less alone because even myself, I'm thinking, I love media. I love talking about it with people and having this sense of community, but I know that I would also like job security, like I want to be able to have maybe like a more of a solid foundation, just trying it all, going back on YouTube, going on TikTok for crying out loud.
Oh my God. Seriously.
And I trashed, I know, I love it now too, to be honest. I trashed it before and I'm like, this is kind of fun. Take some time to figure some stuff out, look at the sky, look at the flowers, breathe, and just do you.
I guess we settled it. We're all going through shit. So on that note, Laganja, something else that really stuck out to me. You said, I have fear that I'm never going to have a lover because I do drag. And that spoke volumes to me just because I feel...
Damn, bitch, you're getting fierce today. I live.
Bitch,
I thought this was going to be a cute little terrible. No, she's going for it. All right.
Oh, honey, we're going to get terrible. We're going to get shady. It's going to be fun, but I really do want to get to know you, and I want people to see another side of you.
Well, it's a good thing I rolled this big blunt, so keep it coming, mama.
Okay, honey, let it all go. Let it out. I'm here for you. You can cry on my shoulder.
Sure. Well, I think, when you're like, well, what has been your experience? Well, I haven't had an experience. So that's I haven't really had anyone date me seriously since I've become a drag queen. So I think it's only natural that these fears have developed because up until this point in my life, before I became a drag queen, I had very serious boyfriends. In fact, my third boyfriend, we were together for almost 5 years, and the two before that were 2 years each. So I was very used to dating, being monogamous, having a partner. I come from Dallas, Texas, where I guess it is sort of an old school Southern way, and that's just what people do. They get together, they get married, they have kids, and I like that way of thinking personally. I don't think there's anything wrong with it. I know a lot of people are like, oh, but that's not 2020, and I hear you. It's not. Most 30-year-olds do not own houses like myself. But I can't help but have that want because I just think that's what I grew up with and that was sort of the desire that was placed in my head. I think that's what I've had to come to realize and that I don't really put myself out there. I've tried the dating apps, but it just didn't work really. And the hooking up thing, I do, of course, I'm a human being. But again, I've never, ever had a hookup really that's been like, oh, okay, I want to see you tomorrow. But I'll be honest, on most of my hookups, I'm not truly myself. I don't really, unless it's a fan from a show and I know they know the tea, I don't usually go there with people because I know for a hookup, it's quick. We're not trying to get to know each other. And I think I'm at that point in my life now where I'm just not cool with that. I mean, every year at the beginning of the year, I quit cigarettes and delete Grindr. It's like a thing, and then we see how long I go throughout the year before I redo both of those things. But I don't know, for some reason this year I'm really feeling different about it because, you know, you can only run the hamster wheel so much and expect a different result. And I feel like right now, you know, part of my journey is to be living my truth with my gender and be open about the fact that I do very much explore the feminine side of myself. And I think, you know, as someone who identified before as a gay male and dated gay males, this has created a lot of, you know, open sores for me because there are questions I haven't answered for myself and there are questions that I can't really answer for others. I too believe I'm beautiful. I too believe I'm successful and have a good job and I'm financially stable for the most part and, you know, offer a lot in a relationship. So sometimes it's very hard for me to wrap my head around why am I not being dated and what is there that I could do to be more attractive? But I just think ultimately it's that I have to answer these questions for myself about my gender and how I'm going to exist as a non-binary individual, i.e., do I want to have nails all the time? Is this something that I'm okay with? Because you see, when I met, for instance, let's just say Jeffree Star, in my mind, I was like, well, that's a freak. That person will never be loved because they're an in-betweener. And as I've had to come to accept that I myself am an in-betweener, it's put a lot of these questions in my head about how do I present to another partner? And when I go on these sites and I put non-binary, is that really enough? Or do people understand that even when the wig comes off, I'm still a very feminine person? You know,
Man,
I just think,
that's shit right there, man. You really hit home.
It's like you're also dealing with the pandemic and trying to find love in the pandemic, and it's hard because it's like those apps is like the only way to connect with like people through dating and whatnot. So it is very difficult for anyone out here trying to find love, especially if you have questions that are in the non-binary spectrum, you know? So it's just a very gray area that it's not black and white. And I feel like people are still have such a black and white way of thinking still, unfortunately.
Plus everyone's terrible.
Absolutely.
Plus, everyone is terrible, Ganja. Trust me. I know you've done the rounds out there and you've realized, man, these guys are trash. They're terrible.
I definitely have had some experiences like that. But, you know, I have to be honest and say that I'm extremely hopeful and that I know with time and with allowing myself to become who I want to be, that I will find the right person. I absolutely believe everyone has someone out there for them. I just believe you have to be your most authentic self in order to find that. And I just think, like you said, right now in the pandemic with the online dating apps, it's really hard to be authentic without me just being like, oh, hi, I'm Laganja. And if you don't know who that is, here's what it is. Like, it's just a lot to put out right away. Whereas when you're meeting me, I don't know, I feel there's an energy connection or you're getting to really see, you know, seeing is believing. I believe that. Because you could see a picture of Laganja and be like, oh, that's very gay. And then you can meet me and be like, oh, but it's actually different. I don't know. We'll see.
Basically say to you, like, that really hit home for me, your fear of not finding love. And I just wanted to talk about the truth of that because that makes people uncomfortable. And I feel like when we get uncomfortable, our truth comes out, you know, how people handle when the truth is presented to you. It says a lot about that. And I really wanted to explore that. So thank you for being very honest.
But it took me a long time to admit that I was even non-binary. So, you know, because I did grow up in Texas and I did grow up with, you know, kind of a sheltered mindset. And it's so funny because here we are talking about the black and white and it's like, but see, I even still have many ideologies that are black and white. Mm-hmm. And as someone who lives in the gray, it's like, well, girl, you have to do the work too. Like I said, I ultimately believe those are just fears. You can overcome your fears, take a deep breath, smoke a joint, and, you know, get over it.
We're leaving fear in 2020, okay? Like, it is just not coming. 2021 has no fear in it. I'm tired of it. You know, I'm tired of trying to just do what everyone wants me to do. Your friends are not your audience, you guys. You need to be yourself. Be unlikable. Make people uncomfortable. Put your fucking asshole on Instagram if you want to. So I just wanted to say
amen.
Now to the fun stuff. What was it like to get high with Jasmine Masters? Because seriously, that's gold. It's like, that was fucking so funny and so great. I think you should be doing that like all the time. Just be getting high with celebrities. That should be your next show.
Thank you. I would love that. I love Jasmine Masters. We've been getting high together since I've known her. So we always have a good old kiki. You know, Jasmine is much like myself and just keeps it real. Like, there's not a lot of filter there. And I just love that. She's also very dirty and filthy. So it's just and sexualized. And
yeah, she's a top. Morgan is a top. Jasmine is a top. I didn't know Detox was a top.
Oh, yeah, big time. She loves her twinks.
So when are we going to get this Jasmine Masters Laganja podcast? I need it now that, like, you guys are smoking all the time. We need some more content, Ganja. That sounds amazing.
Yes, absolutely. Well, definitely something we're keeping in the works.
I think we should move on. Let's start with the first episode of season 13's Drag Race. Obviously, we have Laganja on, so she's going to give us the tea. I want to talk about the stars, the people that are standing out, you know? Did you ever see it going this far? And has it been amazing to be part of this journey?
Absolutely, I saw it going this far. I mean, I think if America's next top model can last 22 seasons, Drag Race absolutely will. Are you kidding? Yes. And I feel very lucky, truly. I am still such a huge fan of the show. I mean, I couldn't tell you how excited I was to watch the episode this week and be a fan of the show. You know, I enjoy being a fan so much more than I enjoyed really being on the show, because there was a lot of stress that went around it. Whereas when you just get to watch it, you just get to really just feel the joy and have fun. And so, yeah, I love it. I'm so grateful. And I thank my lucky stars that I am, you know, one of now almost 200, I think, but still, you know, I'm very proud of that.
Well, let's get into episode 1, season 13. Right off the bat, all the New York queens are giving me life. My favorite right off the bat, Tina Burner, giving me some top energy, completely hilarious, a little Bianca-ish to me, but like with that New York City harshness, you know? I love that she's big and bad. So she's sticking out right away. Candy Muse, just because of the whole former Aja thing, like that is like her card, and she's playing it right away. She's bringing the shade. She's not holding back, and she made me laugh. Like, if you don't take it too serious, it makes me laugh. How she pressed play on it on the little, like her little boombox, hilarious. And then Rose,
hilarious.
I loved Rose too, the other New York queen. Even though she lost, I like her confidence. I like that she's funny. She's kind of giving me Shane Dawson vibes, which I'm not really down with, but those are the people that are sticking out. Ollie, who is sticking out to you?
Oh my God. Well, first of all, I just have to say it's an amazing cast. I already see, like, okay, these storylines, they're planting the seeds, but I have to give it to Simone. She's so freaking breathtaking. I could not stop looking at her whenever she was on my screen. I love Gottmik. Love me some Gottmik. And I've fallen in love with Utica. I can't even see. Look, I don't know. I'm drunk. Sorry.
Not drunk at 11:30 a.m. Word.
He's
you know,
drunk,
sometimes
we're high. It works.
You just need to, like, you know, have your morning beer sometimes. Honestly.
Oh, not even a mimosa, gorge.
I know. I'm terrible. I'm terrible.
I love it.
But yeah, those are the three that are really standing out to me. But I like I said, this cast is phenomenal already right off the bat, even though the format kind of was questionable this season.
Oh my God, the format was driving me crazy. I really was enjoying the fact that they were so thrown off. Laganja, what do you think about this format? Because actually your season started off with by splitting everybody up. So you were part of the new format right off the bat. You didn't experience that old school Drag Race format.
Right. And I actually loved my season's format because I felt like you really got to get to know 6 queens fiercely, you know, for the first 2 episodes, and then the coming together was super iconic, I feel. So I loved that format. Now the new format, okay, that's how I really feel. I love that we get to see them lip sync right away, because I would have loved that opportunity to just go in and show this is what we do every night. You know, none of us are, you know, really comedy queens and doing stand-up, or, I mean, you know, obviously there's Denali, who's an incredible ice skater, but like most drag queens aren't going out on the ice skating rink. They're lip syncing. They're lip syncing in a nightclub. So like, yes, I want to see that right off the bat. However, as a viewer, watching it, going back to commercial break, watching it, going back to commercial break. Well, it was too repetitive. And by the time we got to the last round and had like a threesome, it was like, oh, thank God, something just a little different. I have friends on the show, so it's very hard to not pick my friends. So I'm just going to pick my friend and say Gottmik. I'm all team Gottmik. I'm here for him. I just
Gottmik is the first trans man on Drag Race, right?
Yes.
Love that. Love that. And
yes,
he's
and
shady
so I'm
as
hopeful.
shit.
You think?
Oh my God, he was so shady. I loved it. He was a little terrible.
How is he shady? He wasn't shady.
Come on. I feel like he like read the manual on shade and came in and was like, I'm just going to throw 1 and 2 out real quick.
I just think it's his personality and how he's just very like gay about it. I don't know. I feel like, I don't know. We'll see what happens. I really don't know because he's been so good about following his contract and not revealing to us what's going to happen truly. So I really don't know, but I'm just rooting for him so much. And I'm rooting obviously for the trans, people, because I feel it's so important that the queer culture, specifically those of us who are white, recognize this and recognize the trans lineage and how we wouldn't even have a show if it wasn't for, our Black and brown sisters who were in the underground ballroom scene and created all of this.
I love that. She's bringing us more herstory, you guys. Herstory.
Me and Ollie are the same. I love Simone. I live. I just think she's gorgeous. And I love the fashion. And I mean, she's just a woman and I live for that.
6 lip syncs. I think that was just too damn much. The commercial breaks are killing me, like you said. Like, it's to the point where I'm like, can I just watch it the next day with no commercials? But I don't know if I can wait.
But those commercial breaks, girl, those were terrible.
Those were
they're really bad. They, you know what? They worked out pre-COVID because I would always be at like the bar watching in WeHo, watching the screenings. So that was our time to like go to the bathroom or talk about what just happened, So
gosh, that's so true, friends.
That's the only time that it worked. But now at home, we're all at home. We're just like, good God, it's the anticipation.
All right, well let's get into this. Let's talk about Denali. She's the ice skater.
I thought it was such a gag. Practical? Probably not, but drag's not practical.
No, it's not.
No, it's all about a show.
And then we have Gottmik, who came in, and obviously she is the first trans person, and she's friends with Laganja. So she came in. She came in with her entrance. What do we think about her? She kind of gave me like a kimchi kind of makeup vibe, like with her outfit.
Uh-huh.
Well, I think Gottmik had the best entrance line. Ready to crash the system or something like the system. I loved it. So Gottmik already gets that award for best entrance line of season 13. Predictions wise, I can see Gottmik going really far just by Gottmik's aesthetic and the makeup. You just get kind of lost looking at Gottmik's artistry on her face.
And now we have Elliot with 2 T's, who's a Vegas girl, which is where I'm from. So I was happy about that. What do we think about Elliot with 2 T's? He loves the Botox, apparently.
Well, I actually know this queen too. We know each other from Texas and working at Alyssa Edwards' studio Beyond Belief. He did dance there as well. So he's an incredible dancer, and I can't wait to see what he turns on the show.
He totally looks like that total perfect backup dancer. You know what I mean? Like, so yeah, it'll be interesting to see him up in the forefront, really trying to catch it. Because in the first lip sync here, he kind of got outshined by Tina Burner. I mean, she is like 7 feet tall. And then Kimora and the Bob Mackie. What do we think about Kimora? She was actually shady right off the bat. Shady ass bitch.
I live for the shade.
Me too, sis. I thought she was gorgeous, and she was like, yeah, reconstructed to my perfect sample size body. I'm like, work. But I love a diva like that.
I love it. It'll make the Untucked episodes really good. But I think like what I'm getting from the girls is that some of them are a lot of shady, like super shady. Tina, Rose, I'm getting hints of shade, but it's okay. Like I feel like they're like game. They're down for the shade.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what I'm getting from this season.
It's all in good fun.
I want to talk about Kimora. So she came in with her Bob Mackie original piece, and I feel like there was some tension on the stage when she said that. Like, I know RuPaul wears a lot of Bob Mackie. Like, he's done runway shows. Like, he says, I'm wearing Bob Mackie. So why didn't he say anything when she said, I'm wearing Bob Mackie? And Carson had this look like, oh my God. And then he looked at Ru.
Really? I missed that, I guess.
Oliver?
Maybe that's a seed planted. Maybe it'll come back in a future
I'm like your
episode.
dad calling you Oliver. I'm sorry. Do you want me to call you Ollie? Oliver, come to bed.
You can call. Oh my God. Okay, Dad. Okay, Daddy. You could call me whatever you want. Honestly, I don't know what that whole thing was. Like I said, maybe it's something will come back in a future episode. But I didn't get it. Maybe it flew over my head.
It definitely flew over mine. I just thought she was being cunty and everyone was living and laughing.
Candy Muse, she's from New York. So she's sitting alone in the VIP. She comes from the house of Aja formerly, but now she's from the house of the Dollhouse, the Broccoli Bunch. What do we think about this? Because I feel like, what was the name of the broccoli girl? Like, she was good, but she was just beautiful. She didn't really bring anything to the show. She wasn't funny. She wasn't really memorable. She was just beautiful. I don't even remember her name. Who am I talking about?
It's Dahlia Sin. She was a fierce Brock ally. How could she was iconic.
Iconic.
She was iconic.
No,
really.
I live for the Brock ally. She was in every single episode, basically.
I thought she was funny too.
But it's cool because I think Candy Muse will go far because I think Dahlia went home first, obviously. And so Aja kind of was like in the middle of the pack, and she's obviously an all-star, but I think Candy Muse has so much to prove. And yeah, she's already made such a huge name out for herself outside of Drag Race before she was even on the show. Like, we all knew who she was.
Really?
Yeah.
Yes. Like, she went viral all the time. Maybe I'm just on Twitter too much. But.
No. Actually, Candy Muse looks so familiar. So I totally believe you. So I feel like I've seen her before. I've seen her shows before because I've seen a lot of drag in New York. A lot of drag.
She's a Brooklyn queen.
Yeah, and then later on,
if you've ever been to Brooklyn.
Oh yeah, you know I have, girl. And then they would just appear on the show later, and I'm like, oh my God, I know her. I remember her. They used to perform at the Barracuda, like, shit like that. So
totally.
Speaking of Brooklyn, Olivia Lux. Oh my God, her smile is beautiful. Valentina, your smile is gorgeous. What do we think about this? Sometimes we got to watch out for the youngins, Laganja. They will come up right behind us and take our job.
Of course. I used to be the youngin' who did that, so I get it.
What do we think about Olivia Lux?
I love her. I think she's gorgeous, and I really enjoyed her performance and lip sync, and I think Rose absolutely killed it. She was twisting and turning and bopping and depping and dipping and boppa, but I did really like Olivia's performance.
I'm going to vote for a fan favorite right off the bat, you guys. I'm going to say Tanisha Iman. I seriously love her energy, and I know she was doing the same move over and over in the lip sync, but I grew up doing that move. That is the Janet Jackson shoulder right there, and I was living for it. I love her and her story. The fact that she was cast on season 12, got cancer, couldn't walk at one point because of the radiation, and she came back within a year. So I feel like we have to give her some props. We have to give credit when it's due. So
I already love her because also she's the drag mom of Lalaurie. So I'm excited to see them interact. And also I just got word that she's the drag mother of the late Tandy Amon Dupree. If you ever seen the iconic lip sync of her, like, please go Google it. So she's created a drag dynasty. Like, she's been doing drag for 30 years. And she really deserves it. Like, this is her moment. And I felt bad for her when she was, quote unquote, eliminated. I felt bad for all of them. It was kind of hard watching this. I don't know if you guys agree, but like, it was a little heartbreaking because, like, obviously what's going on with so many drag artists and entertainers with COVID, they're out of work, and to kind of like play them like this, I genuinely felt a little bad for them when they were quote unquote eliminated, because they were just so shocked and confused, as the viewers were.
I feel a terrible nomination coming on. Are you saying that this format is like your official nomination for most terrible? Because I kind of agree with you. I feel like it was working out fine, and then it got to her, and I'm like, you guys, we cannot do this to her. This is fucked up.
Right.
Playing them like all of us.
But their faces were so blank. They were like, what's going on? Why are we here? There's only two of us.
My favorite was when Rue was like, 2 queens. They were all like, oh shit, like it's fucking going down, like right now. Oh my God. Utica Queen. So, and she's kooky. She's very clowny. She kind of gives me like a Evie Oddly kind of vibe, you know, a little Sharon Needles. That tall, lanky body. So we'll see. Who do we see going all the way till the end, just straight off the bat? Because I could tell you, some of these girls were sticking out like sore thumbs to me, and I can see them battling until the very end.
Well, I think Tina Burner definitely has a good chance of being in the top.
Absolutely. I actually see her like at the very end.
Yeah, totally.
Just because I feel like we always people, the queens specifically, but they always underestimate the funny queens. And I'm like, have you guys not seen the show enough to know that the funny bitches, these funny bitches always win? You guys need to be
right. Because they win the challenges just because they're not the most fashionable or the most, up to date with pop culture. They're the ones that actually take the material that they are given during the challenge and make it humorous for us to watch. And that's really what that show's about.
Ganja, I know you had like obviously a little bit of a tough time with Bianca Del Rio on the show because she would give you shit all the time, and you know.
Totally.
How is your relationship with Bianca? Like, are you fond of her? Like, what is up with that?
I am. Yeah, I love her. You know, she helped me become an adult. I mean, I wish she could have done that to me off of screen, but. You know, at the end of the day, I am who I am because of her and because she pushed me. And I always have said about my mentors and teachers, the ones that I love the most are kind of hard on me because I respond to that type of energy, I guess. And, you know, Bianca and I are friends now, and she usually calls me on 420 to wish me a happy birthday. And,
That's so cool.
You know, she sent me a wig once that was like a big giant flame with a blunt in it. And I mean, she really is a loving person. And, you know, I think at the end of the day, she just did her job on season 6, which was to come for any and all dolls. So, you know, I give her props. I give props to my mama.
Yeah, Bianca she really is a fucking crazy trailblazer. I love her. And I know it was at your expense, but you guys gave us great TV. Just great TV.
Absolutely.
I see Tina Burner going to the end. I see Rose going to the very end. I would
love to see her there.
Yeah, I see Simone there. I see her story coming out. I would like to see the Uticas go far. I would like to see the Tanisha Imans go far because I root for the underdogs. You know, obviously Tina Burner and Rose, those are the polished, big, famous New York City queens, but I always root for the underdog as well because I'm usually the underdog myself. I'm like the chubby, funny, fat kid on the side. But don't fool me. Don't ever underestimate me because you know how those funny queens are. They come and take your damn job. So
absolutely.
That's why I kind of relate to those harsh, funny queens because I'm like, you know what? Comedy sometimes is all we got, bitches. So don't underestimate us.
I have to say that I'm obviously rooting for my friend Gottmik. You know, I think his story is really important and is one that needs to be, you know, heard and amplified. And I do think his drag is incredible and what he brings to the competition is very unique. So I obviously hope to see him in the top, of course.
Absolutely. I'd actually love to ask him like how he feels about being on Drag Race now compared to a couple years ago when we talked about and we had these uncomfortable conversations with, you know, people from the show saying, you know, this is a show for men. This is a show for drag queens. A drag queen is a man dressing up as a woman. That was the tea a couple years ago, and it's evolved and changed. So I would like to know her opinion on it now being on the show. But what do you think about this, Laganja?
Well, I'm just happy that they've evolved. You know, I think at the end of the day, look, nobody's perfect. My parents made plenty of mistakes with me growing up and as a child, and even when I became a drag queen, but they've evolved and they've learned and they love what I do now and they support my, artistry. And so instead of hate on my parents for when they messed up, I love them for when they messed up and learning from it. And that's sort of how I feel about the brand is, yes, I'm sad that trans women and men have not really been celebrated in the way they should on this show. But if we can change and we can get there, then great. That's what we should be doing.
No, I completely 100% agree, especially with like the toxicity and the fandom of Drag Race. So it's like everyone wants to cancel someone and never let them, grow or change their mind or learn their wrongdoings. So it's good that, the people behind the show are really learning that drag is for everyone, regardless of your gender, your sexual identity. It's literally for everyone. And it's never been this quote unquote like boys.
Accepted.
Yeah, it's never been like the just for men, it's always been for women. It's always been for trans women. It's always been for anyone who just wants to express themselves through their artistry. So I only, this Got Make being on the show is only the beginning. And I'm so excited.
Yes.
I'm so excited to see what the future holds.
I want to play off what Ollie said and just kind of hit on that kind of canceled culture, because it's been kind of woven into Drag Race. We had a queen that was disqualified last year before the show even aired. They edited her out. They spent thousands of dollars post-production redoing the entire show to cut this woman out. Sherry Pie, obviously, she was like a catfish allegedly, and she catfished a lot of actors into sending them like self-tapes where they were jerking off. Like, I would never do that. And I know that if a casting director ever asked me to get naked on camera, that would be a red flag to me. And then if you told me to jerk off, I'd be like, okay, what is this? And how much are you paying me?
Right.
What were you thinking?
I mean, I feel lots of mixed feelings about this because, I did face it pretty bad when I came off the show, but I think now what the queens face is just like 3 times fold as hard. I mean, truly, like it's really sad, and it just makes me sad to see gay people be so hateful to one another. I just wish people could like stop, smoke a joint and be nice. Like, what the hell? I don't get it. Why would you wish someone AIDS, or why would you wish someone died, or any of that? I mean, I even felt bad for Sherry, and I don't think what she did was great. But I can't imagine just being canceled like that before you even began, before even seeing how talented she is apparently. So,
oh my God. I would feel fucking horrible. Can you imagine like just being in her shoes? How
I think I would kill myself.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
I truly do. I do. I really do. I think that now, because I've gone through a lot of life experiences, would never, but I think I just don't know. I just think we need to think about everyone, even, as we've gone into the BLM movement and, with Trump and the presidential awards, or elections, not awards. No one's being awarded, mama. This year was shit. But with the elections, we have to think about our opposing sides and their feelings and that they're human. And I know sometimes it's very hard. Specifically, I'll be honest, for me, when we're talking about Trump supporters, it is hard for me to want to be loving and kind when they're spewing hate. But the only way we're really going to move forward as a civilization is to be kind to one another and accept that we're all different, but we're all the fucking same.
What you should do is just start a podcast and talk shit about people like I do. It's just much more healthy.
Exactly.
It's a hard time to be a drag performer when there's so many different platforms of social media to like get at the girls, get at the guys, get at these artists that are just trying to do what they love and express themselves.
So a lot of people who call me annoying and this or that, I just write back and say, like, I'm sorry you feel that way. I hope you'll check out what I'm doing now.
All right, really quickly, you guys, it's come to that time in the show where we have to nominate and decide who is the most terrible of the week. All we did was talk about Drag Race, and we mentioned Hilaria Baldwin. I got some nominations for Andy Cohen, Anderson Cooper, J-Lo. you know, there wasn't really that much terribleness on RuPaul's Drag Race other than the format and other than playing the shit out of all of them. But I want to hear your thoughts, guys. Who is your most terrible of the week? Let's start with Laganja Estranja.
Well, I'm sad to say this because I was a part of it, but the NYE on Fox was terrible this year, guys. It was not a good show. But Leanne Rimes did come back for a 20th year anniversary of Coyote Ugly with a Can't Fight the Moonlight remix, which I did get to dance alongside her too. And that was super incredible and not terrible at all. And I'm so thankful for the opportunity that I got to do that and end my 2020 on national television. But God, the programming and the guests they had on and the other performers, it was terrible, Ma.
Yes.
Just to piggyback off that, I'm going to just go with my most terrible of the week. Goes for the New Year's Eve performance, but specifically J-Lo for trying to sing Aerosmith's Dream On. It sounded like a cat being pulled apart by all limbs. It was absolutely atrocious. And she was actually lip syncing. So it's like you sounded like shit and lip synced. I don't get it. So J-Lo is my most terrible of the week. Ollie, what are you jumping in here with?
Mine's so random. I apologize, and it breaks my heart to say this, but I have to give it to someone who I love and still have love for. Tiffany New York Pollard recently got into some transphobic remarks on a new reality show on the Zeus network. I love her. I really think she just did a disservice to trans women, specifically trans women of color. So unfortunately, I do have to nominate her this week, but I hope she learned a valuable lesson. And kind of like what we spoke about earlier in this podcast about, you know, cancel culture and allowing people to learn from their mistakes. I really hope, because I love Tiffany. I love New York.
Laganja, who do you think should win? You are the guest of honor. You got all of us high, so that's why we're messing up over here.
I would never, ever, ever put J-Lo on my most terrible list. So she definitely isn't going to get it. And then, of course, I'm not going to pick a program that I was a part of, because you said New Year's Eve performance. Let's be specific. It was the New Year's Eve on Fox. It was not the performance, because my performance was stunning. But we're not going to pick that. So obviously, it is going to have to go to our sis Tiffany. You know, I feel the same way as you do. I love her. I think she's great, but I do believe she is a little bit transphobic. I do believe she's exuded these behaviors long before this incident, and so I hope she will take a real look at herself and realize that's not who I am, and what I'm saying is not nice, and I'm not going to do that anymore, and I am sorry to trans women. And I hope that's the apology we'll get coming soon.
Absolutely.
Wow. I mean, just from the beginning of the show till the end of the discussion of Drag Race into our nominations, it has just been a wild ride, and I did not see that coming. Tiffany Pollard has been officially named Most Terrible of the Week. I want to thank my guests Laganja and Ollie. This was so much fun, guys. I really, really appreciate you guys.
Well, I definitely want everyone to go and check out my latest single, Daddy, which does have a music video on my YouTube. I did also just drop some brand new exclusive merch available on my website. And I launched a brand new CBD day to night bath care line with Honey Pot products, which is also available now on their website. So go check it out. You know, she's always up to something, honey.
Oh my God. First of all, let me just comment on this. The Daddy video, guys, I almost masturbated to it. Like all those guys. On the
Yes,
bed.
That's what we wanted.
Oh my God. You were getting pounded on that bed, and I was jealous.
Okay. Come on, softcore.
We need a good pounding during this pan dulce. Okay, during this pan dulce.
Okay, exactly.
This pandemic in Spanish. Okay.
Right now I'm drinking in my room. No, right now I follow me on Twitch. There's something great about the pandemic. I started doing things that I've always wanted to do, and that's starting a Twitch and gaming and talking to other queer people that just love nerdy stuff like I do. So follow me on Twitch. Follow me come
what
see
are you
my
playing?
booty on Instagram. I'm playing Dead by Daylight, Fall Guys, all the nerdy games right now. So come hang out on this coming week.
I love it. All right, guys. Well, thank you so much for coming on. Guys, I just want to shout out some of the supporters, Elizabeth Perla, Ashley, Chantel, Holly. You guys are some of the best people. Thank you so much for subscribing to the podcast. If you want to contribute to the podcast, keep it a high quality project with love, please subscribe and give it 5 stars on iTunes. Please give it a review and hit that link in my Instagram bio. It'll take you to a contribution page. You can give $1.99, $2.99, $4.99, $9.99. So make sure to follow me on Instagram, guys. Everyone is Terrible Pod, HollywoodLian on Instagram. I've been doing some top 5 stuff on TikTok. It's great. I love you, terrible people. I want to thank Laganja Estranja. She's fabulous. I want to thank Ollie Drennan, a fabulous commentator on pop culture. Check them out on Instagram. They're fabulous. Terrible people. Stay terrible. Stay safe. Don't go out and party. Wait to get some dick in a couple months. Get vaccinated first. And then we're all going to hit P-Town this summer, okay? All right, terrible people. I love you guys, and we'll talk next time. Bye.
Bye.